A huge unsecured credential database discovery is a great reminder to change your passwords. The Federal Trade Commission will finally stop challenging Microsoft's purchase of Activision Blizzard. And Amazon is testing AI-generated hosts that will talk customers through product features. It's Friday, May 23rd, and here's a quick look at tech in the news this morning from Engadget. A report issued this week by security expert Jeremiah Fowler of a massive unsecured database full of usernames and passwords shouldn't necessarily frighten you, but it should spur you to action. If you have any weak passwords protecting accounts with sensitive information, or if you've reused the same password, however strong, on multiple accounts, now would be an excellent time to change them and set up two-factor authentication. Fowler reported on website Planet that the database, which he found unlocked and without any encryption on an anonymously registered server, contained a little over 184 million records. Those included usernames, emails, passwords, and direct links to the URLs for logging into the relevant accounts. While Fowler was able to get the hosting provider to lock the server, he couldn't find any hard evidence about who compiled the database, nor whether they had used or shared the information. Now, there are a couple of reasons not to panic here. 184 million records exposed doesn't mean 184 million people exposed. It's just the number of rows in the database. If the info was gathered through malware, as Fowler believes, it's likely to have gathered multiple records from every infected device. Now, that's obviously still bad, but fewer people have been affected than it may seem from the number alone. The database also contained no information that could be used for two-factor authentication, so anyone with a second-factor setup has much less reason to worry. Don't forget, though, that one weakly secured account is a liability to the others. For example, a hacker could gain access to your email, then use that access to break through two-factor authentication on your bank account. The potential consequences of having your password stolen are severe enough that it's worth taking common-sense steps. Since the database was not leaked on any of the usual dark web sources, its data likely won't show up on breach checkers like "Have I been pawned?" However, Fowler did share with Wired reporters that he tested a sample of 10,000 fields in the database and found passwords to the following platforms: Facebook, Google, Instagram, Roblox, Discord, Microsoft, Netflix, PayPal, Amazon, Apple, Nintendo, Snapchat, Spotify, Twitter, WordPress, Yahoo, online banks, online wallets, healthcare web apps, and government employee accounts. So, if you have an account on any of those platforms without two-factor authentication, well, Engadget recommends changing your password and then setting up two-factor authentication as soon as possible. Now, pay special attention to platforms like Roblox and Nintendo, where your kids might have set up their own accounts and not bothered with two-factor authentication. As Fowler pointed out in his blog post, even seemingly innocuous accounts might have personal information lying around. The Federal Trade Commission has finally given up the ghost on challenging Microsoft's $68.7 billion purchase of Activision Blizzard. The agency said in an order yesterday that the commission has determined that the public interest is best served by dismissing the administrative litigation in the case. The federal regulator had attempted to block Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard, both before and after the deal closed back in October of 2023. The FTC just lost out on its latest appeal against the merger earlier this month. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that the FTC had not successfully argued several points of its case for a preliminary injunction against the merger, which is one of the biggest acquisitions in the video game industry. Microsoft President and Vice Chair Brad Smith said on social media, "Today's decision is a victory for players across the country and for common sense in Washington, D.C." Amazon is testing a new feature that involves AI-generated hosts talking through product summaries. It looks fairly similar to Google's audio overviews, which also include AI-generated hosts that seem plucked from a middling podcast. Amazon says that these AI shopping experts help save time by compiling research and providing product highlights for customers from product pages, reviews, and insights. Now, this leads some people to an obvious question. Amazon is notorious for hosting fake reviews. Some studies suggest that fake reviews account for more than 40% of the sum total. So, do these AI hosts pull from those reviews? Amazon reached out to Engadget to note that it has zero tolerance for fake reviews and that it has robust and long-standing policies that prohibit review abuse. The company also boasts that more than 99% of products viewed on the store contain only authentic reviews. Now, it didn't say if the AI hosts include an additional layer of security to protect against fake reviews. Each audio summary will remind you that it was generated by AI just before an introduction from the quote-unquote expert hosts. Amazon says these hosts are like having helpful friends discuss potential purchases to make your shopping easier. Thanks for listening. There's more to these stories and more tech news at Engadget.com. This episode featured journalism from Sam Chapman, Anna Washenko, and Lawrence Bonk, and was voiced and produced from the sound studios of Spoken Layer by a real human voice, because, seriously, would an AI voice sound this bad after going to a ball game the night before? Probably not. Enjoy your weekend. I'll be back on Monday with more tech news from Engadget.